Dear students, in the previous class, we have gone through the concept of a virtual base class, where we defined virtual base class as the duplication of inherited members due to multiple paths can be avoided by making the common base class, that is base class common, which is used as a virtual base class. So we had a syntax common base class were B and C, so we have declared or inherited virtually. So in today's class, we'll be having a look on other small definitions and related topics, and we'll be finishing this chapter if possible. So the next concept that we are going to take up is the abstract classes. The word abstract in the sense used only for specific purpose or designed only for a specific purpose, we can call it as abstract. So an abstract class is one that is not used to create objects. So we can use it as a base class. So abstract class is designed only to act like a base class. Because it is designed to act like a base class, in the inheritance concept, the objects are being created for the derived class, not for the base class. So it is actually the concept of the base class, where the base class may consist of final, fields, and constant methods. So abstract base class, by using which we cannot create any object. So it's a 1-mark question. What is abstract class? So you can say it is designed to act like a base class for which we cannot create any object. That's a 1-mark question. Then we have already studied constructors and destructors. Now how the constructors and destructors are going to affect in the inheritance, that is, if the base class has a constructor and a destructor, what will happen to the constructor and destructor in the derived class? So that is inheritance, we will see. So before moving to the common definition, we will have the basic understanding, that is where and how, and in short, how the constructor and destructor will affect the inheritance. When both the derived class and the base class, that is base class and the derived class, contains constructors, what will happen? The base class constructor is executed first. So priority is given to the base class first if there are two constructors, one in the base class, one in the derived class. The order in which the constructors are executed is base class to the derived class. So the base class constructor will be executed first or invoked first. Then the constructor in the derived class is been executed. Okay, that's the first point. But now similarly, when we talk about when the base class and the derived class consist of a destructor, the destructors are called in the order of derived class to the base class, because destroying of the object or deallocation of the memory takes from the very recent place that has been taken, that is derived class first, then to the base class. These are the 2 points that we need to understand. So calling a constructor in terms of inheritance, when we have, so base class C, base class B, base class A. So if it is a derived class, then this is the base class 2. Then the base class 2 will be called first. Then base class B will be called next. Then the base class A will be called next. That is order of calling the constructor is constructor in the class C, constructor in the class B, constructor in the class A will be called. So that is classes that we have created. So A inherits the property from B, B inherits the property from C. This is a hierarchy of inheritance. So as you know, in the previous slide, that is this slide, we have discussed the constructors are executed in order from base class first, then to the derived class. So which is the base class? Base class C is the topmost priority in the base class, that is the oldest existing base class, that will be executed first in terms of constructor. Then the next oldest is the class B, that will be called next. Then the newly created class is the derived class, that will be class A, will be executed next. Now talking in the Same way we have destructors, but order of calling will change. The order of calling is first the derived class, that is the newest class that has been created will be deallocated with the memory first, then the next newest, then the oldest will be so the structure in the class A, class B and class C will be executed, okay, in this manner. So that is how the destructors, constructors and destructors will be okay. So this is all about the chapter. Thank you. We'll be moving to the Turbo C++ and we'll be seeing a program that is related to the single level inheritance.
So as you can see, this is a question that we are going to create a base class and a derived class. So the base class consists of roll number and name and function to read and display the data. By using the concept of inheritance, we should implement, and there is a derived class consisting of marks of two subjects and total. We should read and display even the data that is there in the derived class. Let us see in the Turbo C++ how to implement the program.
So as we are going to discuss single level inheritance, let us begin with the program by including the header files, that is iostream.h, the first header file, and the next header file that is we'll be using regularly is the conio.h, that is include conio.h header file. Then we'll begin with the class because we are implementing marks and all the things. So we'll take the name of the base class as the student. So in the private section, we'll be having the data members. In the first base class, we have roll number belonging to integer data type and a character array, that is name, can store up to 25 characters that we have here in the data members. So in the public section, we'll have the member function. The member functions are used to read and display the data. So reading of the data is so that we have cout to enter the roll number. So first we'll take the name, enter the name and roll number. Will prompt the user and ln will be added at the end. So cin.getLine function we will use. I'll be telling you what is the use of getLine function. So getLine function, how many characters we should read? The size of the buffer is 25 because we have given over here as 25. Okay, at most that many characters can be read. The reading will be read. Now the difference between cin normal we will be using, that is when I write like this cin, okay, and write the name. So this is totally different than this. So this will read only a word. Suppose for your name is Shashank Rathod, it will read only Shashank, not Rathod. But this one will read even whole line of text until you press the enter key. So that's the difference between getLine function and cin with the normal. Then we will take the roll number. Roll number is stored under the variable rollno. So this is about the read function that we have. This is defined inside the class. Now another member function to display the data, we will write it as, so because we will have read function and display function, we will give it as read1 for this, okay, in the base class. In the derived class also we have a function, okay, for read and display. So read1, display1 for the base class, okay, read2 and display2 for the derived class we will be giving. So cout display the values whatever are there, that is roll number value, roll number is equals to that is stored under the variable called rollno. Then endl will be written. Then cout, the next thing that we have is the name of the student. So name of the student is stored under the variable called name. Okay, name, name. So we'll add the endl statement. So that is about the display function. So in the display 1 and display 2 we have implemented both the concept. So here next we'll begin with the next class, that is the derived class. So the derived class name what we will be giving is the called as marks. So colon is used for inheritance. So colon type of derivation that I will be doing is public type of derivation. The name of the base class from where the inheritance will take place is the student. So this is the base class. So as you know, in the base class we have the data members belonging to the private section. So in the private section we will be having name, marks 1 of the student, marks 2 of the student, and even will be having total. So total will be the data members that will be there in the second class. Okay. So in the next we will have in the public section. The public section will be having the member functions. So member functions, as you know, we need to read and write. So this read to, then in the read to we will be reading the marks of two different subjects. Enter the marks. Okay, enter the marks. So marks will be read of the student. Then we will be taking the input with the help of cin m1, okay, and m2. So that is what for the read to. Next in the display to, void display to, will be having the displaying statement. So total, if you want, you can calculate over here also. Total is addition of two numbers, total. Total is equals to m1 marks and m2 marks. Okay. So that is the total will be displayed in the display function. Before displaying the total, we will be displaying first the marks of the subject 1. Subject 1 marks are stored under m1 and L, and subject 2 marks are then stored under m2 and L, and total marks of the student, that is m1 and m2, are stored under a different variable called TOTA, is total. So and L for this. So that is display 1 and display 2. Display 1 name and roll number, display 2 subject 1, subject 2, and total marks. So this is the derived class. So we are closing the derived class. Going to the main method, void main, will be creating the object for the derived class. What is the name of the derived class? The derived class name is marks, that you can see over here. So marks, capital M, is an object that I am creating, capital M. So clearing the previous window, CLRSC, clearing the previous window, then we will be calling the function read one function first, then we have read two function, then we have display function, display one, okay, derived class. Next m dot display 2. So these are the functions that I have. So get ch is the last statement. Close the curly. So let's save the function, that is program, save the program. The name of the derived class will save marks.cpp. The name of this one. Compile the program. When you compile the program, you don't find any errors over here. Run the program, run it, then we'll see the output. So first what I need to enter, name. So I will enter the name. Okay, this is my name, and roll number I have is 101, and it will ask me to enter my marks. 90 and 87 are the marks. So I'll get the display on the output screen, roll number, name, subject 1 marks and subject 2 marks, and the total. This is the program that is related to inheritance.